Well, a Trump insider says that Donald Trump is about to drop a mega bombshell on the American people's heads. In fact, it's a rather big secret that if it's true, it could change everything, not only in the United States of America, but across the globe. What am I talking about? Well, take a look at where I found it. And this is on thedailymail.co.uk. Trump insider told me the president has a bombshell speech revealing decades of UFO secrets ready to go. Here's when we will finally tell the world the truth. And this is a brand new article published. You could see the 31st of January, 2026. But it goes on to state this, that Trump reportedly has a historic speech ready that could finally provide the world with UFO disclosure, according to a filmmaker. Mark Christopher Lee, a UK-based writer, director, producer, and UFOologist, said an advisor to the Trump administration told him that the president's been given authority by the other major world leaders to make the announcement. And isn't that crazy, right? World leaders literally giving you an announcement or saying that they have their stamp of approval on this particular announcement. I mean, that's huge in and of itself. But the speech is said to reveal decades of evidence, recovered materials, and credible military eyewitness accounts showing that some UFO incidents can't be explained by any known human technology. Now, that's not all that was revealed. But before I dive in, I got to give a quick break to the sponsor of this video. On January 5th, the U.S. Department of Energy announced $2.7 billion in contracts to restore America's uranium enrichment capabilities. Now, this isn't just routine spending, it's a signal, and the message is very clear. America needs domestic uranium, and we need it right now. But here's the reality. The U.S. consumes over 50 million pounds of uranium annually, but produces less than 1 million pounds domestically. That's a 98% foreign dependency, and it's a serious vulnerability for our power generations, for our defense systems, and even our national security. With Russia dominating enrichment and global supply tightening, the White House has made its position unmistakable. Build the U.S. uranium supply chain and build it at home. This is where Atomic Minerals come in. Trading on the TSXV under ATOM and OTC under ATMMF, this is a team with real credentials, including leadership behind the discovery and a $654 million sale of the Rough Rider uranium deposit to Rio Tinto. If you want to learn more about this critical mineral story, check out the link in the description box below or go to atomicminerals.ca/presentations. So what exactly did Lee say specifically? Well, it goes on to state this. He will confirm that forensic analysis of recovered off-world vehicles and non-human biologics has established their extraterrestrial origin, making the first official acknowledgement of this reality by any world leader, he added. The speech was initially planned for the UN General Assembly in September, but Lee said it has been moved up to coincide with Roswell's 79th anniversary on July 8th. He told the Daily Mail that new intelligence developments have made it a matter of urgency. I do feel that President Trump likes to act spontaneously and may not want to wait until January 8th. But he goes on and he states this as well. Lee also told the Daily Mail that his insider is a successful business person acting as an advisor to the Trump administration officials who has been responsible for reviewing archived UFO evidence in preparation for the disclosure event. Now, the president will explain that previous administrations maintained secrecy due to national security concerns, technological uncertainty, and fear of the public reaction, Lee said he was told. He will emphasize that he is the first president to authorize full disclosure because obviously the American people are looking for transparency. But he also closes with this, that President Trump will announce immediate steps towards declassification of related files, expanded scientific study through a new interagency task force, and international cooperation with allied nations, Lee told the Daily Mail. So we're talking about cooperation internationally. So this wouldn't just be, say, Donald J. Trump of the United States. Maybe there's people, we are with Europe and other world leaders on this particular disclosure, if it's accurate, right? This is so far what is coming from a so-called insider inside the White House. And here's the deal. Donald Trump has not admitted as of yet that any UFOs exist. In fact, he stated the opposite. Back in 2024, but he had no choice. If you're going to say UFOs are real, he's going to have to make a disclosure, right? So he can't admit it until he's made a disclosure. So that's the point I want to make with this article. But here it is, NPR, U.S. recovered. Oh, no. Sorry, this one right here. And this is on News Nation Now. Trump on alien life forms. There could be, but it's not my thing. And here's what he said specifically. He was being interviewed by YouTuber Logan Paul. I don't really care for Logan Paul, but in that interview, here's what Trump told him regarding UFOs and aliens. He goes, "Am I a believer? ? No, I can't say that I am," Trump said, "but I have met with people that are serious people that say there's some really strange things that they see flying around out there." And that's what he said in response to if UFOs and aliens and all of that existed. Again, Donald Trump would not come forward with that unless he's made some kind of disclosure to the American public. So could we see an actual admission from the Trump administration? Well, if this so-called insider is correct, it could be coming as soon as July, if not potentially sooner. But anyway, I think the public deserves to know exactly what is going on. I don't think we're the only people out there. I believe in an interdimension. I believe there's other dimensions out there, a spiritual dimension, because you hear a lot about this in the Bible. You hear about fallen angels, you hear about angels, you hear about demons. I think these things obviously are exist. Now, what we have also been told in the past is by people within our United States government or former government agencies or are people linked to other non-government agencies, so both from non-government agencies and government agencies, that they have reportedly collected biologics on UFOs. And this is on an NPR article. U.S. recovered non-human biologics from UFO crash sites, former intel official says, right? 3 military veterans testified in Congress's high anticipating hearing, right? They had a hearing a while back. And this was a former Air Force intelligence officer who claimed that the government has operated a secret multi-decade reverse engineering program of recovered vessels. He also said the U.S. has recovered non-human biologics from alleged crash sites. Now, we still don't have any tangible evidence at this point, and our government agencies haven't made any, shall we say, declarations on it. But I do hope it is coming. Now, with all of that, I want to touch some on the Jeff files that were just dropped because Trump's name has obviously been thrown out there, and there is some real misinformation about Donald Trump going out. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to take you to a CNN. I hate CNN with a passion, but I want you to see what they actually have to admit in their article because it'll make you smile ear to ear. But here it is. What 3 million new documents tell us about Trump's ties to Jeff, right? And here's what they state. President Donald Trump is mentioned more than 1,000 times in the 3 million Jeff documents released on Friday after the president initially resisted the effort. While some of the references are benign, which many are, others include newly disclosed unverified assault claims against President Trump, as well as fresh details about some of Jeff's victims described in their interactions with future president. Most notably, the newly released document contains a list of unverified assault allegations against Donald J. Trump. You see how they do this? They have to actually admit that none of them have been verified, right? People would call in tips and say, Donald Trump did this, and the FBI is forced to write down every tip they ever got. But, as you're going to see in a moment, none of the tips panned out, right? So, a list of unverified assault allegations against President Trump or by Trump at the time, compiled by FBI officials last year. There are also FBI notes about a woman who accused Trump of doing stuff for her, yada, yada, yada. And then they go on and have to admit that none of it is legit. Trump's no public evidence. There's no public evidence that any of the allegations against Trump contained in the new documents were deemed credible by the FBI. And the Justice Department said on Friday that the allegations against Trump in the documents were false. And Trump, of course, has long denied the wrongdoings there. He's denied them. And the FBI says, no, those are just tips that everybody's sharing with his name in. Those are tips, none of which have been credibly proven. That's the point. They are really reaching far. And Donald Trump is a very powerful person. So, of course, there's going to be allegations and all of that. Speaking of more fake news, there's fake news going around on Elon Musk on that as well. And this was put out by Mario Nafal. But apparently there is an Elon Epstein-linked Isle vacation. And the entire email is debunked. Like, it's not even a legit email. But he goes on to state that a viral image claiming to show an email thread between Elon and Jeff about the epic island vacation. It's completely fabricated, fake news. There are no emails containing those phrases anywhere in the released files. So that, if you've seen that going on the internet, is completely debunked. Now, his name, Elon Musk, does actually appear in the real files, but only in emails showing he rejected invitations from Jeff there. Now, some other ones that are, legit that are in there. Of course, we have Jane Fonda and Robert De Niro. According to some of the emails, they were really good friends there. It's funny in light of Jane Fonda's newfound love against ICE, shall we say. Two of these people I can't absolutely stand at all. And then here's another one here. As soon as it loads, there's been a lot of this young man, Jay-Z's name, has been in and out of the files as well. And of course, Harvey Levine of TMZ founder, he was described as someone's good friend who might be helpful in the PR campaign against Jeff and his victims. So those are some of the stuff. There was other stuff on Mamdani, but I'm still waiting to see the verification on some of that. So there was some that were actually fake going around that I know of. So right now, I think we need to just kind of get a little more information on that. But all of that, it's rather interesting nonetheless. But kind of back to the initial topic, I hope Donald Trump gives us a bombshell on UFOs and what's going on, because something is absolutely happening in our skies. Something has happened with people being abducted. We've heard multiple stories. I have done... or I've read a lot of L.A. Marzulli stuff. If you guys don't know him, he's got great stuff. And even Steve Quayle. There's actual things that they have removed from people's body, these implants and stuff. So I think there's always more to the story, and I think we have a right to know. And that could obviously play in time Bible prophecies as well. But anyhow, I love you all. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.